Good afternoon, America. I know I'm doing these without warning, because really that's the only way I can do them right now. I never know when there's going to be time or space or anything like that. Today, I don't like talking about what I got to talk about today. And I'm sorry I'm going to be sniffling and snuffling the whole time because my sinuses have decided to go crazy. I sound like a meth head, although, I've experimented with numerous mind-altering substances and been an expert with some of them. However, meth is not among them, nor is any cocaine or any other heavy narcotic. But I almost need something heavier today after seeing what I saw yesterday. He's done two press conferences 2 days in a row. Call them press conferences if you want to. It's really impromptu rallies where he hopes the press shows up, but there's always a press corps that's out there, so it's a captive audience. But watching the one yesterday was more than I could stomach. I had to say something today. Many of you that watch my lives also know who Ron Easton is, and I watched his from this morning, and I understand his outrage. I understand the pure, raw, visceral anger that the man has, because he's talking about someone who has earned that anger. To me, the bigger question is, when will American veterans see that it's not just that he doesn't give a shit about you, he actually holds disdain for you. He can't stand you. He has said as much, standing there at a gravesite, looking out over it, referring to veterans, saying that I don't know what they get out of it. To me, they seem like losers and suckers. How many ways does he have to say that you're losers and suckers before you actually listen to him and start believing? Because yesterday was not the first time. Yesterday was not even close to the first time. He has made disparaging comments literally dozens of times, publicly, openly, in the public record, and yet you still have this faction that backs him. I don't understand that. Yesterday might have been the worst example yet. As bad as suckers and losers was, as bad as his own lack of service. The fact that this guy that you seem to pray to not only disdains you, but he himself is no kind of veteran, aside from being commander-in-chief, an honor he certainly never earned. Are you going to remember that this man got 4 different draft deferments for a made-up problem? That's the only only ones that can afford that are rich boys. It was because he was a rich boy. And yet you keep sucking his ass. Why? Yesterday's quote, and it gets better after this. It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor, but civilian version. It's really much better because everyone that gets the Congressional Medal of Honor, that's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets or they're dead. You don't see the glaring disrespect in that? And by the way, his saying this was to suck up to one of his mega donors that he gave the Presidential Medal of Freedom to. And somehow he thinks that's better. You know why he thinks that's better. Any of you that have any modicum of critical thinking ability know why he thinks it's better. He gets to decide who gets it. He gets to get their praise, or, let's tell the truth, their dollars. That's all he cares about. He'll sell you one of those. No problem. He will sell you one of those medals. You can't buy a Congressional Medal of Honor. You can't. You have to earn it. That's why he thinks it's better. Those people that he so disrespects, holds so much disdain for, they can earn it, and many have. And he's going to tell you that the medal he can sell you is better. What about the life of that person who was shot to shit? What about the incredible valor and courage they showed to earn that? Have you ever read the stories of the people who have won the Congressional Medal of Honor? It wasn't some light-ass shit. These were people that had every reason to expect that the only thing that they had left to do was to serve and try to save their compatriots. As far as they knew, they were dead, but they were going to see it to the end. And yet somehow, who can spend enough money, a person can buy what he thinks outweighs that. Yeah, Ronnie was pissed. I'm pissed too. And I'm going to be honest with you people. Yes, I was in the military. I was a terrible soldier. 17-year-old kids from the streets with the kind of attitudes that we had were probably not very good soldier material, and I was not. We'll just put it this way. When you're in nuclear missiles and part of the surety program, they really frown on it a lot when you get caught with marijuana. I made stupid mistakes as a kid, but that doesn't mean that I don't look at the guys that were standing beside me who finally did go on to do what needed to be done with the greatest respect and honor. I was a terrible soldier. Donald Trump would have been too. But I was a terrible, well, first of all, anybody military in here knows just as well as I do, Donald Trump would have been a second lieutenant until they fragged him. But I was a terrible soldier. And I can look at what he said yesterday, and it about makes me fucking puke. We know that, Martha. I am aware, and I will address that in a little while. Not surprisingly, this incident came about just because he wanted to suck up to one of his mega donors. He's probably looking for a little more donation. But when you couple that to the way Shady Vance attacks Tim Wall's record, it makes me wonder a bigger thing. It makes me wonder more about his cult members. These veterans. How can you allow him that much latitude and still call yourself a patriot and a veteran? How can you do that? How can you even call yourself a veteran? He's attacking the people who would have stood by you and fought and died. Ron Easton is a real veteran. Ron Easton, he wears his Vietnam veteran hat proudly. I didn't see combat. I didn't get that far. Ron did. And that being the case, I can fully understand why he would be upset. Trump talking about Congressional Medal of Honor winners being they're either in very bad shape because they've been hit by so many bullets or they're dead. Yeah, well, Ron and a whole lot of other people were there watching those bullets fly, watching their buddies, their brothers, get their hands, arms, legs, faces, heads blown off. And you want to talk about how you giving away your, oh, here, you can buy this from me, medal is more important? And you veterans, and I use the word loosely, that follow him, you think that's okay? It's pathetic. That's pathetic. He's pathetic, and you're pathetic. I want to move on from there. At least today was a little brighter. Kamala Harris stood in front of a small crowd and said what she can do for our nation. You know what? She made a lot of sense. Didn't tell us how she's going to pay for it. Can't do it without congressional support. That means one thing. You have got to do your part. Not only for her, but the down ballot. Unless you want that coward, Cadet Spurs, once again, dragging us into the 1950s and economic disaster as he did, unless you want that, you've got to support her, and you damn sure got to support the down ballot. It's that simple. Dorothy, was it not a very inspiring, happy, uplifting moment? Something that we could look at and be proud of. Yeah, I'm ready for that woman to lead because I sure as fuck don't want that coward there again. A couple of other things I want to put in here. One of them was just brought up. One of our blue dots is in some pretty serious shit right now. Donna Bonacorsi, who is a good friend. Donna and I have talked many times on the telephone. She's helped me out many times. She's been a customer of my leather work. Right down to the spaghetti sauce I make now came from her husband, Fred. Her sister, Linda Calabro, got in touch with me yesterday, explained the situation, and Donna is right now, and she doesn't want to spread this all over the internet, so this is between we blue dots. Yes, I know that puts it all over the internet, but Donna is, she's in the hospital right now. She's in a medically induced coma. She was going in for one procedure, and they found some type of a bubble that had to be broken up. So that is how they're handling it, and my prayers are with her and her family, Fred, her sister Linda. Keep them in your prayers. Donna's a good one. She's a real good one. We need her around for a good while longer. I do want to also thank some of you. I made a bit of a plea yesterday. We still have some big bills facing us, but a couple of people have chipped in and helped out and made it to where we now at least have a plan how we're going to get through this, and hopefully this damned mortgage is going to go through. So I thank all of you for that. If there's anybody else that wants to help, just reach out to me. I'll tell you how to hit my PayPal or Venmo, or if needs be, we'll find a way. If you want to write a check and mail it to me, whatever. But I do thank all of you, and that, however, is not. I am not going to close on that. It's important, but that's important to me. What's important in this that I put out there today is to remember who's looking out for you. The guy who thinks that because he's the one that chooses who gets the medal, he's the one who gets to give it out. He's the one who can give one to the highest bidder if he wants to. That's all me, me, me. That's all it is. That's not service. That's not what the people who have won the Congressional Medal of Honor are about. That's not what Kamala Harris is about. If you listen to her today, she's worried about you. She's worried about how we're going to get through all of this and how to make it better. That's what I want. That's what I want you to want. Don't ever, ever go backward. That's what we'd be doing with Trump. Don't do it. Forward. Even if it's not your cup of tea. If I have some Republicans on here, and you're going to have to hold your nose to vote for her. Hold your damn nose. We don't need that shit stain in office again. All right, people. I love you, America. Share this shit.